I have my marshmallow fondant here, and like always, I have some Tylose powder, Gumtex powder, CMC powder that I sprinkle into all of my fondant. It's going to help it dry a little harder and hold its shape. I will link this below. This is ivory colored fondant. This is Wilton Ivory. I will link that below as well. And I made these chocolate chips. I chopped them up. I didn't make them, but I have a video showing you how I chop these up, and I will link that in the description. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of that on the countertop. You see how it's like variation in the size and the chocolate chip powder. I'm just getting rid of some of the big chunks there. And now I'm kneading the fondant over that chocolate chip dust just to get it evenly distributed in the fondant. And I'm just rolling it on the countertop to pick up the extra chocolate chips. And let's peel off a little piece and roll it in my hands. And I'm going to flatten it out. And I'm going to pinch the edges just to flatten the edges out a little more than the center. Place it down on the countertop and try to push those edges down to form like a little cookie shape. And let's do that again. So I'm ripping off a little piece. I'm making this one a little bit smaller so there's a variation in size. Flatten it with my hands. I need some more chocolate chips in there. There wasn't enough, so I'm just dipping it in the chocolate chip dust. And then I'm just going to roll that together and knead it again. Press it down to flatten it out. And this time I'm adding a little bit more chocolate chips to the top. Make it look a little more realistic. Good. Flatten the edges. And I want to add some more chocolate chips to this one. So I'm using the bigger chunks just to add the chocolate chips to the top of the cookie. And now I have this little cutting board and I'm going to set them aside. And now I'm taking a piece of aluminum foil and crumble it up. And I'm pressing it down into all the cookies to give it a little bit of texture. I'm reopening it and recrumbling it so I get a different kind of pattern and doing the same thing until I like how it looks. Now I'm taking my Dresden tool and just making little cracks, like a little crack pattern. You know how cookies always crack at the top. So I'm just taking the thinner end of that. I will link a Dresden tool in the description and just randomly putting little crack lines in the tops of all the cookies. And now you got to bring these alive with petal dust. I have chocolate, cinnamon, and dark chocolate. The company I got these from is out of business, but I will find similar ones and link it below. And I like to have a paper towel handy, dip it into the dust, and then I dip the brush on the lid and tap the excess off on the paper towel. You don't want too much on here. And I'm just going around the edges. You know how when you make chocolate chip cookies, the edges get darker than the center? That's what we are trying to achieve here. So I'm starting with the cinnamon color, and then I'm going to go to the medium chocolate brown color. Again, tap it in the lid, make sure there's not too much on the brush, and go around the edges. And now I'm taking the dark chocolate dust and doing the same exact thing, just trying to deepen that color along the edges. And I'm going to add a little bit of color to the tops of the cookies as well. And there are your fondant chocolate chip cookies.